So I got this new toy here, it's just a little siren. Kind of sounds like a police siren if you just kind of like, hit it a little bit, but it's like a home alarm siren. Working on putting that in. So I gotta run my wires back through here. I got another one of these push buttons. They didn't have the same exact one that I got last time. It'd be cool if I could have two of those. But anyways, I decided I'm gonna put it right here. Hopefully it'll fit in there. But so now someone was asking me how you do switches like these, and they're all pretty much the same. So if you look on these, it's got two little nuts on it. This one's got two too, but only one goes on the top. So anyways, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to go ahead and take off the top one, don't lose it, and then you're gonna want to find a drill bit that'll fit this shaft right here, and then you're just gonna want to drill your. Alright, so I found the right size drill bit here. It's a speed bore bit, so it's not really meant for plastic, it's more meant for wood, but it'll work just fine. So I already made a little mark there. If I can get it in there. There we go. See how quick that was? Speed bore. That I even got carpet. Man, this camera sucks. So now you just want to take and clean up your hole. Get all this little plastic junk out of here. And then check and make sure that your switch fits, and fits perfectly. Right, so since I already have these horns installed, I'm going to use that power wire, which is this one here, that brings power from the battery back to that switch. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take these things here, that way I don't even have to cut the wire. So I'm just going to take that and spread it open. Now I got a little break in the insulation there. I can just wrap my new wire around there, and I got 12 volts. So I just took my second wire and just wrapped it around that little open spot, and then put a little bit of solder on it. Now I just gotta tape it up so it's not gonna short, and then I just gotta put a spade connector on the other end of this wire here, and it'll work. Alright, so I taped that up. I put a spade connector on the end of that one, so now my thing's all wired up. So now I'm going to take and put some tape over these terminals so they don't short out on anything, and then I'm going to feed the switch underneath and pop it. Now before you go ahead and put your switch in, you notice there's two nuts on here. Well anyways, this is to adjust for how thick whatever you're putting this into is. So if you're putting it through like a piece of wood or something, you're going to want to stick this one all the way down, but since I'm going through plastic, I'm going to want to have it up here, something like that, so that you can still put the other nut on and have enough threads to tighten it, but I don't want it to stick up real far and look goofy. So and you can adjust it a little bit after you stick it into the hole, but you want to get it just about right and then put it through. So alright, you just want to stick it through the hole and then tighten down this top nut. And on these switches, they come with two of them, so they just kind of like lock. They're kind of like locking nuts. I suppose one of them might go behind, like if you're doing something like this where you had thin and you had to space it out a little bit, but I just put both of them on the front. So yeah, got it adjusted just right so it doesn't stick out too much and look goofy. Would have been nice so if I had one like this. There we go. Yeah, so now I got a push button there for siren. I showed you how to install a switch like this. It's got the threads on it that you can screw in. So now I'm going to show you how to do some other switches. I got ones like this here. They're just little light up round switches. And sometimes you also find these kinds of switches here that are rectangular. And this one's a light up one as well. And this one here came with my off-road lights. Took it out real quick for this video. So anyways, I'm going to show you how to install these. Most of the time these square switches like this will come with a little bracket like this that you can pop them into, and then you can just screw this bracket, you know, wherever you want it, side of your dash, whatever, underneath your dash, and then you pop the switch into it. And the smaller ones will come with those too sometimes, other times they don't. But anyways, what I do with these kind of switches when they come with this little bracket, because I don't like having them stick out, I like it kind of all nice. So what I'll do is I'm using a milk jug just as a dash. So what you want to do is take and put it where you want the switch. Now take a Sharpie marker and get the top off. Oh, piece of junk. So anyways, what you're going to do is you're just going to take your Sharpie marker and you're going to hold your plate here as best as you can in one spot without moving it, and then just take and color it in so you have a nice box. It looks kind of like a barcode now. So then what you're going to do is just take a knife. Sometimes the thicker plastic you might have to drill some holes and then just go through and cut them, knock that out, and then just use like a Dremel and clean up those edges. But for this milk carton, I'm just going to use a knife and cut it out. So now I got my hole cut out, and you don't have to make this hole perfectly straight or anything. You can see I kind of screwed it up around the edges. It's not perfectly straight, but it doesn't matter because there's this edge here that'll cover that up. You just want to make sure that you don't cut it too big or, you know, make like a giant whoopsie. So then you just take your switch, put the wires on, pop it into place. This switch is not straight, and now you can go ahead and turn the milk on. Alright, thank you. And there you go. That's how you make electric milk. What I did for this switch inside the truck, instead of doing like I showed you, mine already had some spare switch spots that were almost the same size. This switch was a little bit bigger than that, so I took my Dremel, and you can see on the bottom I took and made it a little bit bigger, and I made it a little too big, but it still works. And if you make it a little too big, it won't stay in there, so you could glue it in if you wanted to, but it's fine for me. Alright, so now you're going to take your wires and hook them up. And then you just take your switch, pop it in there, and now it works. Now these switches, they're a little bit easier to install than these square ones. You just gotta take and find the right drill bit size. This one here's about the right size, and it's not gonna work very well on a milk jug because the plastic's so thin. But anyways, you just want to, figure out where you want your switch. And if you're gonna have, let's say, a row of switches, you're gonna want to take some sort of straight edge and make a line ahead of time. Probably pencil would be better. That way all your switches are in line and they're not all drunk looking. So you just take your drill bit. These will work fine on plastic, but the other bits are better for plastic. And you run your wires, take the popper through. There you go. Now you got this switch here. And the wiring on these, if you look on the side of them, there's a sticker, and it's got a power, load, and a ground. The ground one is going to be like a brassy color. That just hooks up to the ground in your car. Power is going to be the power coming from the battery, and load is going to be the one going to the lights, or whatever you're hooking up to this. So that's how you wire them, and then when you turn it on, light comes on. Whatever you have hooked up to them will come on. So this is the light out of my truck. And anyways, the base keeps rattling this one apart. It's supposed to look like that. This is the switch, little button, you go. It's supposed to turn on and off. Well, anyways, when it breaks open this part here, there's no spring tension on this piece, so it rattles all around and makes all sorts of noise. So I'm going to rewire it, get rid of these switches here, drill a hole, put this in there, then you flip the switch and turn it on and off, and then so now I got my notch taken out of it. I just use my knife to kind of clean up the edges there, make it so it's not as rough, take any little bits and pieces of plastic off. So now I just got to wire it. So I just got to run my wires through from there, plug into this junk, and it'll be good. Alrighty, so got it all back in place. Wow. Yeah. I feel like an electrician now. Oh wait, I am. Let there be light. Sweet. I haven't used this light in forever because it's been broken. Well, at least this side. I used the other side though.